Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified of our upcoming videos. This is a review of the Barrelhand Project 1 by Karel Bachand. And Karel is a young industrial designer and watch aficionado in California, and I met Karel a few years ago when this was just a prototype. And so this is a true project watch created by a watch enthusiast himself. And the name of the brand, Barrelhand, is sort of a combination of his first and last name together, and it kind of stuck. The way that I got to know this clever fellow originally was he made a 3D printed replica of an Oorwork watch, and it was so impressive that Oorwork themselves wanted to meet him and flew him out to Geneva, and I actually helped arrange that. And then he's like, you know what, I'm going to come out with my own watch. And this was several years ago now, and he kept at it, and he showed me some prototypes. And again, a lot of it uses 3D printing. So for example, some of these dial elements here are 3D printed metal. Elements of the case are 3D printed metal. And it uses a technique called binder jetting, which is a way of 3D printing metal. You can't quite do it for all purposes. So for example, the case of the watch, which is titanium, is traditionally CNC machined, but certain things, like I said, I think the crown as well, are 3D printed so that you could have details and shapes that you simply couldn't have in these types of low productions. Like, it wouldn't make sense. But the design is really not what the Barrelhand concept is about. It's about the movement and the module. This begins with the Swiss Made Eterna 39 series, or 3900 series automatic movement that has a lot of torque. And there's a module that Barrelhand designed and created to go on top of it. And the way it works is this. It's kind of interesting. There's a few parts to it. So I'm going to pull the crown out here. Actually, I'll show you. You don't have to use it, but there's a little lever here, and if you slide it, it just kind of pushes up the crown a little bit. So it's a little gimmicky thing, but it's fun. I like to have stuff like that. Okay, so I got the crown up here, and the way that I'm going to adjust the time, you can do it both ways. So there's a jumping hour on a disc here. And it's not sort of the fast jumping hour, but it doesn't slowly wander. And I think that's important so that when it is 2 o'clock, it stays 2 o'clock. It doesn't wander between the two, which is a problem that you have on some disc-based hour indicator systems. But as I'm turning the crown, you can see behind here, there's two other things. First of all, there's this disc behind here, which has two colored sections. It has an orange section and a sort of light green section. It's loom painted. And then you have a linear hand which goes down and goes back up and goes back down and goes back up. And that uses one of those sort of heart-shaped or semi-heart-shaped cams, which is actually on this round rotating wheel. So how do you read the time? Well, that's a good question. So the first thing is you have to go up here and see the hours. And then to see the minutes, you begin by looking down here at a little window with a magnifier. Try to lift the watch up a little bit there. And you look at the color in there. So if it's orange, that means you're going to look at the orange side of the dial for the minutes. And if it's in the green section, that would mean you look at the green side. And that's important because you read one as this little linear hand moves down, and then you read the other one as it moves up. And each one has 30 minutes segmented on it. So in this instance, I would see at the top there, I'd see it was 7, and then I'd see it was green. And then it's close to 10. And you see that it moves down, so this would be about 7:09. And now it's 7:10, and moving down to 7:20, and 7:30. And then to go to 7:40, the little hand goes back up again. So that is how the Barrelhand Project 1 concept works. And again, the case is about 44 millimeters wide in titanium with a combination of traditionally CNC'd elements as well as 3D printed elements. Now, 3D printing is a very interesting and wonderful area of technology that's going to get more and more sophisticated and applicable to the watch industry. It's sort of semi-applicable. The reason I'm sort of holding it on the strap here is you could see that this strap, I hope you can see some of the texture here. It is also binder jetting made, and you can sort of see here a little bit some of the interesting texture. It looks a little bit like Damascus steel, to be honest. It's kind of cool, but it doesn't allow for some of the tolerances necessary for maybe a case which needs to be water resistant as well as movement parts. But again, certain elements of the dial have been made through 3D printed metal. Very, very cool. These watches are a limited edition and they may be spoken for. I know that there's people who have been waiting years for their Barrelhand. It's great to support independent watchmakers like this. Price for the Barrelhand Project 1 is $30,000, and you can see more on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.